Megan is great. I mean, I've done a few films with Megan, and I tell you, she is so professional, and she's a bit deceiving because people kind of look at Megan and go, "Oh, well, can she really be lethal? Is she going to be a little, I don't know, sexy woman?" But boy, she is tough.
Expendables, also known as The Expendables 4, comes out in theaters on September 22nd. So, how does this film stand out from the previous three films?
Well, I think what this film is an evolution, and certainly from the third one, it's an evolution.
Yeah.
But because we've had three films, and the last one, maybe some people were disappointed with the PG-13, and so
Mhm.
we were kind of, as we were thinking, and it took many years to really think out the story, think out what we wanted to do, and we immediately thought, hey, you know what, this really has to return to its roots, and we have to even up the action. We have to deliver something that the fans are going to be excited about again. And the ways to do that is, again, getting back to that kind of visceral hardcore action that the fans demand, and bringing in some kind of fresh new characters that aren't just cameos coming in there and kind of interacting with our actors and then sort of drifting off, but actually bring back everything from the first few that really work, which is the characters in the first few. And so when we sat down, we were really thinking of script and story and how each character was integrated into the story, and the reaction those characters had upon each other. And then we went out to cast the film with actors. And I think what happens is this is probably, in terms of, particularly because there are new characters involved, this is probably the best character integration of any of the films, because you have Megan coming in, and now she and Jason Statham are going tete-a-tete, with which the audiences will love, because Jason's such a tough guy and such a hard fighter, and yet she holds her own, whether it be physically, verbally. And the same thing with 50 and Dolph, and Levy and Randy, and Andy Garcia. And so that kind of character universe expanded, and it enriched each of our original Expendables, if you will, and it gave kind of a new depth to the team, which wasn't there, maybe not since the very beginning.
Of course, and you mentioned Megan Fox, and obviously she plays a big role in this film. How
Mhm.
much did you enjoy having her working with, Jason Statham and even Sylvester Stallone?
Megan is great. I mean, I've done a few films with Megan, and I tell you, she is so professional, and she's a bit deceiving because people kind of look at Megan and go, "Oh, well, can she really be lethal? Is she going to be a little, I don't know, sexy woman?" But boy, she is tough, and she is sexy, and she gets in there and fights, hits the ground, fires, if there's explosions going off, she's not cowering away. She's really into it. And the guys respected her for that. They respected her, I mean, she came on very strong as an actress, basically going toe to toe with Sly, with Jason, and holding her own. And I think they were all very impressed by that and very pleased with that. And I certainly was, because that's an important role there. It's a very strong female role, and we need that.
You also mentioned 50 Cent. Now he's worked with Sylvester Stallone in the Escape Plan franchise. So did that play a factor in terms of casting him for Expendables?
Yeah, look, we've in the past Expendables, we've all his name has always come up, and it
Okay.
for whatever reason, whether it be the timing, his scheduling, I'm not quite sure. But on this one, well, we talked to him from the beginning and said, "Look, you got to be in this." He says, "Yeah, if I'm not in this, and you're never going to hear the end of it." And it was one of those things where we really wanted him to come in, and we had the perfect role for him. We had that role for him, and we said, man, this is why this is going to work. And this is why what he's going to bring to the table is he's not just going to bring Another character that will, because his main conflict in there is with Dolph, their different attitudes and their moralities. And Dolph's character has become not flat, but needed a new twist to that. And I think 50, he's so good, and his interactions are so good, and his presence is so big that he really helped out that aspect of the film.
Absolutely. And of course, like we've seen in the previous three Expendables, this film also shows the dynamic between Barney and Christmas. Of course, that's Sylvester Stallone and Jason Statham. And I remember Sylvester Stallone saying that, Barney and Christmas are closer than brothers. Do you agree with that?
Oh, absolutely, I do. You know why? Because they share, I mean, if you think of the name of the franchise, The Expendables, they are, in a sense, all they have in the world. It's
Yeah,
like one of them dies, and with so many dying, and just based on their name, the Expendables, that's their bond. And that's what I think people really, really attach themselves to when they see the franchise. They see these two guys who really only have each other, and it's like this real bromance, but above true feelings of true caring. And what if something happens to one of them?
of course. And you mentioned how the action is bigger, and I definitely agree. And that leads to bigger stunts. And what's interesting about this film is you have these characters that are a somewhat stunt experts. So when filming, is it easier? And of course, there's a stunt team. But is it easier to film these stunts since you have these characters that know how to do their own stunts?
Yes, you know what? Because a film like this, this isn't kind of a Marvel thing where there's a lot of CGI and
Yeah.
and even CGI doubles of actors and whatnot. This kind of film, you need to feel that that's the actor right there throwing the punch, firing, running from the explosion. That's how you get involved in a film like this. People have grown up with these guys as action heroes and whatnot, and they stay in great shape, and they all want to do the stunts. And sometimes we have to say, look, we need you for the rest of the film. This is a little bit,
Yeah.
touch and go. Maybe you can do this much of it, and then this, and some of them, no, 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 I want to do it all. I want to do it. So there's a give and take there. There is definitely a give and take. But they're in great shape, generally speaking, and they want to do as much as they can.
Yeah, and Sylvester Stallone mentioned, and this, I think it was back in 2021, that this would be the final film that he will appear in. Before production even began, did you know that this will be the final appearance for Sylvester Stallone in The Expendables?
Look, honestly, I didn't hear that, so it's news
Oh,
to me.
okay.
But look, this is kind of a moving target, if you will,
Yeah,
and it could be, anything can happen. But we don't kind of look beyond this film here.
yeah.
This film is what it is, and to start thinking of number five without first making sure that number four was something the fans really wanted, I think is premature. And I can't really talk about Sly being in the next one, or Jason being in the next one, or Randy, or none of them being in there, because this one is still not done as far as we're concerned. We need to understand how well this did, if this hit all the buttons, if it ticked all the boxes, and if the fans really responded to it.
And from what I understand, when it comes to this movie, Jason Statham played a bigger role when it comes to being a producer. So how was it not only having him on screen, but working with him behind the scenes?
It's good. It's good because we needed, whenever you have an actor, whether it be Sly or Jason or some other actor of that stature, you want them involved in production. You don't want to be making decisions and then they're questioning, but you want to involve them in the aspects of production, right? Not even story at this point. If we're just talking about producers and production, yes, they get involved in the story, but in what's actually going on a day-to-day basis in filming, it's important for them to be part of that and understand what's happening so there are no surprises.
Well, Les, I enjoyed the movie. I know everyone else
Thank
well.
you.
No, of course, thank you so much for your time. I really do appreciate it, and continued success to you.